Three, two, one. Hi, hello, and welcome to another episode. There is one more episode as the year ends. I was not expecting necessarily to do this one, and I have to say, I am very tired, so this does not feel like an end of the year episode. I should have compilations of the best things and I don't know, going through my favorite movies of the year and games I played and music I listened. It feels like every other podcast I listen to is doing this kind of wrap of the year. If you remember last episode, I said that everyone is wrapping up the year. Spotify wants to do a wrap. Reddit wants to show me a wrap. Even Uber wants to show me a wrap. The wearable device I'm wearing wants to show me a wrap of the year. So, you know what? It's a form of defiance. This episode is not a wrap of the year. It's just another episode on the last day of 2020. My name is Ermis. Thanks for joining. It's yet another expat, the place where I bring whatever is in my head, plus some interesting or not so interesting news. And I think a tired last podcast is a good energy to feel the year. It's the end of the year. It's not time to celebrate yet. Looking backs and resolutions and the Coca-Cola Santa. Although this year Coca-Cola did the Santa commercials were fully AI, a lot of people were not happy about that. They were like, we have one thing going for us that every Christmas we get to see some sort of Coca-Cola commercial for how Santa brings Coca-Cola to the village and everyone is happy. Why did you have to mess with that? And this podcast is improv. I just remember that also Santa was not always red. He became red. I actually think he became red because of Coca-Cola. Let me have a quick look. And a quick search shows that Santa had been red before. He was also green, but he had various depictions in the 1800s. But Coca-Cola did not invent the red suit, but solidified it. Okay, so in a way, Coca-Cola made Santa red, and now here we all are. Okay, let's get this podcast started. Today's mostly going to be random thoughts. The first one is Kiwis. Kiwis, what a funny name. I was thinking the other day, kiwi is such a weird name. A kiwi. It doesn't sound like a fruit. Really, it doesn't sound like a fruit. It sounds much more like an animal, like a kiwi and a dodo. Or it sounds like a Pokemon. Kiwi could have definitely been a Pokemon, like a Ditto. And kiwis are fruit. It's also the way to call Australian people. I don't know why. But after some Googling, my mind is more in place because kiwi is indeed also an animal. My mind almost played a trick on me. Did you remember from the get-go that kiwi is an animal and a fruit? So kiwi is also a bird. And it's a fruit. What comes first? What came first, the bird or the fruit? These are important questions as we wrap up the year. So let's check. And apparently the kiwi fruit was named after the kiwi bird, so the bird existed beforehand. The fruit, originally known as the Chinese gooseberry, was first cultivated in New Zealand in the early 20th century. However, the name Chinese gooseberry is not really a good name, is it? And I don't know why they decided to name it like this since they were cultivating it in New Zealand. You could call it the New Zealandese gooseberry. But in any case, they needed a rebrand. They rebranded the fruit as kiwi fruit to appeal to international markets, particularly after concerns, in the 50s, the name association of Chinese gooseberry during the Cold War. We don't want that communist fruit coming into our tables. And they did the name change inspired by the kiwi bird. The kiwi bird is the national symbol of New Zealand, and they say it shares some physical characteristics with the fruit, small, brown, and fuzzy. Okay, so now that we know that, let's go back to the Chinese gooseberry or the kiwi, because my thought is, who takes the time to cut a kiwi in slices? I really think people who do that should be checked, because let me bring you my thought process here. With the kiwi, if you want to eat one, you need to peel it, okay? Number one. And this takes time. And the kiwi is not a very friendly fruit. It doesn't really want to get peeled. There are nicer fruits like a banana. A banana wants to get peeled, or a fig. A fig wants to get peeled, or some lovely fruits you don't even need to peel, like cherries. So the kiwi is a bit more like my nose fighting off the Nivea strips my partner wants me to put on it in a way it doesn't want to get peeled. Also, you can't really scrape it with a peeler. It's not like a potato or a carrot or the sorts. No, no, no. The kiwi needs to be skinned. You need to take a knife. It's not even square. It's not an easy shape. And you need to skin it all around. I have to say, from all the fruits I consume, kiwi makes me the most uncomfortable. Like when I need to peel it, I really feel it doesn't want it. And so this is what brought this thought. After you go through all that and you skin it and you have it there in your hand, in your cutting board, fleshy and round and tiny, why continue cutting? Why do these small slices? If there are no other people involved, why don't you just put the whole kiwi in your mouth? Just eat it. It's like one bite. It's 2 bites max. People that slice kiwis in rounds or rodelas, or even sometimes they make it circles and then cut that in half, like a moon shape part of the kiwi. Why would you do more cutting? The whole kiwi can fit in your mouth in 2 bites. You're done. You're free. Just eat it. So this very important thought was, who cuts a kiwi? Now, a second random thought. Okay, we have candles, a lot of candles also at this time of the year. What do you use candles for? In my life, I used candles for light, very practical. I'm a practical person. Maybe if there was a blackout or I can't find a torch or a switch or a flashlight. So that's one. Then there is scent. Scent is nice, the smelling. I used that a few times. I also used it when I was smoking at my desk back in the day, as it also helps with smoke. Don't ask me how, I don't know. Somehow the candle burns the smoke, but for whatever reason, if you're smoking, you probably know it. So function one is lights, then it's scent and odors. What else happens with candles? There are church candles. I have memories of lighting a candle at the church. We do that in Greece. For what? For whom? It depends. Sometimes I would just light a candle for my grandma, just to make her happy. Maybe a wish at the times of that child despair. Maybe if I wish strong enough, I can have that PlayStation. I actually remember how I wished for a PlayStation no matter what. When I was in my child bed, 8, 9 years old, I would get a PlayStation after my uncle lost his life a bit later in that year. A part of me believed my wish might have come true. Some people cannot help feeling responsible for things, and kids think that everything revolves around them. But in any case, kids should not be feeling responsible for the big things. And my wish had nothing to do with my uncle's passing. Responsibilities are for later in life. Kids, they just want to have fun, ABBA style. But back to the candles. We have light, we have scent, we have wishes in church or in my childhood bed. But then there's also candles for memory, for those we lose. Lighting up a candle for them, like for my uncle. Or in the Greek Orthodox religion, in the graves, you will have a candle burning. It's called a kandilaki. And now with this, we're entering the candle space that is a little bit less practical. It's not about making the darkness go away or making things smell nice, but to serve a purpose, to have like a thought or a manifestation. But why am I thinking about all of this? Why am I thinking about all the candles? House candles, church candles, grave candles, and maybe the social candles like dinner. But then, my godchild, and I have a godchild now, which is a different story. He's 11, and I've been a godparent for less than a year. I actually self-proposed to be one, successfully, because I haven't had a godchild so long in life, and I wanted one. Why? Zero religion, just to have fun with not a lot of responsibilities, and do some gifts. Gifts are always nice. But my godchild, that is German, he made a candle and gifted it to me. And that's strange to me. Coming from Greece especially, I understand it's not so uncommon here in Germany, or at least in my partner's family in Germany. But let's get back to the candle I was gifted. I was gifted a candle, and that candle was decorated with depictions. It was depicting things around it, like an Egyptian wall situation. It had figures happening, or like an ancient Greek vessel to keep the wine, like an amphoreas. And my candle that I was gifted, it depicts Christmas stuff, and it has my name. The candle says Ermis with colorful letters all around it. My name is wrapped around this candle centrally, written by every letter has a different color in the candle. And I understand that there is some way to have a sheet of very thin candle, and you can carve things around and cut them off and stick them onto the candle. This is how it works. It's like a mini collage that you can make, like, a serial killer cutting letters from newspapers, putting them into a note. It's that type of thing. But now I have my own candle. And that was fun because in the beginning I thought I'll just leave it around, flex it. People come and there is a candle with my name, and I can be like, my godchild made me a candle. Like, what do you have going for you, dear visitor? Because I got a candle decorated with Christmas handmade visuals from a child. It has a snowman, it has a tree, it has all sorts of things. And then I thought, I should actually light it up every now and then, right? It's not just to display. You don't just put it somewhere. You should light it up. Why not? It's a candle. And then it hit me that it's a candle for me. So maybe when I light it up, it's for me. You know what I mean? Like, it's burning for me. A reminder that I exist, that I am a thing, a candle that I can light and maybe concentrate on bringing the energy back to myself, or reminding me that every moment there is energy being exerted by me. Yeah, and I think energy is escaping in all directions. Work, to to-dos, to should have done's, to could have done's. Energy doesn't just go to all the things we do, it also goes on all the things we didn't do. That's another form of energy, like the form of worrying about things you didn't even do. What an unfair concept to put so much energy in doing things or worrying about things you haven't done yet. So this candle can remind me that the focus can be on me. And this idea, this candle idea, became so meta in my head, the Ermis candle. I was entertained with this thought a lot, that I get to have my own candle when I light it up. It's all about me, do my self focus or whatever. And then I thought, wow, it's also gifted by my godchild. Maybe it had something divine to bring all along. I also remember one of my teachers back in the day who said, the essence is not in the deification of man. Deification is to become divine, to become godlike. So the essence is not in the deification of man, but in the humanization of the divine. That's a deep one. My whole point about this was discovering purpose candles. I never had purpose candles before, and now I have mine. And I even learned that there is a special candle that a married couple that I know has. That candle was gifted to them in their wedding as a gift. A handcrafted candle. Again, it's very big and fat, so around it you can build this different collage type of artwork. And this candle has been gifted to them, and they light it up when they feel they need to. And I was like, damn, that is so cool. Now we're transcending from the personal candle like the one I had, and I was in such a meta space in my head. Now this is an even more high level concept candle. That candle exists to remind them the concept of togetherness for two people. Such a thing. Maybe I should make different candles for different things. But that got me thinking, giving meaning to everyday things. Yeah, that's such a hack. It can go in all directions, how we give meaning to things. And now candles can become mini motivational speakers for anything, as long as I decorate them or connect them with that thing. Giving meaning to things is such a human hack. I don't think animals do it, or not other animals, because we are animals as well. Why do we do that? It probably must have helped us in evolution somehow. because everything comes down to survival, to being able to evolve, to surpass what's coming. And that got me thinking, is hope an evolutionary advantage? Well, there's no other way to answer this but actually ask the next step of the evolutionary advantage, which is no other than the AI. I'm trying Perplexity at the moment. Is hope an evolutionary advantage? Perplexity says, hope appears to be an evolutionary advantage for humans indeed. Research suggests that the hope provides several benefits that contribute to survival and reproductive success. Oh my. 6 evolutionary advantages of hope. 1. Improved mental health. Hope is associated with better psychological well being and reduced risk of depression. This can lead to longer lifespans and increased chances of reproduction. Well. Number 2. Enhanced problem solving. Hopeful individuals tend to see obstacles as challenges to overcome, using solution oriented thinking to find alternative routes to their goals. This adaptability can be crucial for survival in changing environments. Number 3. Better physical health. Increased hope has been linked to better physical well-being. What? Healthier individuals are more likely to survive and reproduce successfully. Number 4. Stronger social bonds. Hope is associated with better interpersonal relationships. Strong social connections can improve survival chances through cooperation and mutual support. Number 5. Increased resilience. People with high levels of hope are likely to give up when faced with difficulties. This persistence can be advantageous in challenging situations. I can imagine that when the lions are hunting for me in the savannah, I would cross my fingers and run and say, we can do this! Run everyone, we can make it! Stupid example, you get the idea. Last one, number 6, cognitive advantages. Actually, the ability to hope is linked to the development of the frontal lobe in Homo sapiens, allowing for future-oriented thinking and planning. This cognitive capacity likely provided a significant advantage over earlier hominids. So it turns out that from an evolutionary perspective, these benefits of hope could contribute to increased survival and reproductive success, making it potentially advantageous trait for natural selection. However, it's important to note that hope can also have costs, and there may be situations where low mood or realistic assessment of futility could be more beneficial. That's a very interesting one. The balance between hope and despair likely evolved to help humans navigate various life challenges successfully. Thank you, AI. That was a good one, wasn't it? Hope. Good for survival. I like the ending though. A realistic assessment of futility can be more beneficial. Don't forget that, all of you hopers out there. But this wraps up all the candle stuff and the second segment of Weird Thoughts of Ermis to end 2024. Now let's move to a more classical segment where I bring news from around the world. Why not? Let's do that. 111, very important one, and it's also maybe a symbol of hope, is that finally, starting from 2025, in Europe, rest of the world, USB-C chargers are becoming mandatory. Every manufacturer of electronics, whether they are, a beard shaving machine you might be using, every single phone, every single laptop, the switches, all the smart devices, everything that needs charging will be USB-C. I don't know if that means that these drawers will finally get a little bit less clutter. These drawers where everyone keeps all freaking cables. Where do you keep your cables? I'm pretty sure, I would bet it's too many of you out there, but I would bet you all have a drawer. All of these poor cables are living together like a huge spaghetti made out of different pasta. And maybe some of you have used rubber bands to try and make them a bit smaller or so that they don't tangle so much. I don't think anyone might have crossed the next phase of OCD and storage, having any compartmentalized drawers where you can store individual cables one by one. I tried doing this once. I've had a lot of cables in life. I can't wait for USB-C to take over. So then you can lose and find your cables and keep interchanging them. There goes that. Something for us. Now, after having a good news, let's go to bad news. Planes are crashing. A lot of planes keep crashing for different reasons. And I have one thing to say. I made some episodes before around plane adventures, and I know I've complained a lot about having to sit at the very bottom of the plane, at the very back. It's right next to the toilets. Everyone is using them all the time. People are waiting in line right next to you. The smell comes there, all of this. But if you look at the plane crashes that happened and the survivors, the tails of the airplanes in both cases made it. And that has made me very conflicted, because I don't know where I stand now. I don't know where I stand theoretically and practically, like figuratively. Do I stand in the back of the plane or in the front? I shouldn't be laughing with such tragic events, but yeah, way more tragic events are happening around the world as well, and we keep talking about them. So let's stay on the part of where should you sit in the plane, because it looks like the tails are getting quite an advantage these days. Speaking of survivability, there's a lot of survivability in this podcast, from candles to hope to planes. But yes, I might have to change my opinion back. You keep growing, you keep learning. The shitter rows give an advantage. That advantage seems to be life. So perhaps smelling that poo-poo is a comforting thing if you are afraid the plane might be going down. In another random piece of news, Christopher Nolan, we know the guy, the director, he announced his next project. And his next project is a grand adaptation of Homer's The Odyssey, and I'm very excited about that. Universal announced that the mythic action epic hit will be in the theaters on July 17th, 2026. And this will be Nolan's first exploration of ancient mythology. It will, of course, utilize groundbreaking IMAX film technology and bring the legendary journey of Odysseus to life on an unprecedented scale. For those who might not know, Odyssey is from Homer, is the first. Iliada and Odyssey, the two works of Homer, are the first, maybe not the first, but one of the earliest and most important works of ancient Greek literature. They are considered foundational works of Western literature, and they are regarded as the first major epics of ancient Greek literature. It's like epic poetry. It's a genre that's characterized by very long narrative poems that celebrate heroic deeds, legendary events, and the involvement of gods and mortals. The Iliad, the first book, focuses on the events during the Trojan War. It emphasizes themes of honor, heroism, and fate. And then comes the Odyssey. The Odyssey recounts the adventurer's journey of Odysseus as he returns home from the Trojan War, exploring things of perseverance, cunning, and trials of human life. Now, I have to say that the Odyssey book, as a Greek, we had to study it quite a lot and learn it. We had books with the ancient Greek text and the modern Greek text. And it's a crazy journey. I mean, the guy finished fighting a war, and then it took him, 20 years or 12 years to go back to his wife, to go back to his kingdom. In the meantime, there were new lovers waiting for his wife, and they were living in his palace. They were living, drinking, eating, getting drunk in his palace, all of them waiting to marry his wife, because they were saying, he's dead. I mean, it's been 10 years. He's not coming back. You need to choose a new king. But Penelope was like, no, he's gonna come. It's just taking some time here. I'm sewing this, I'm crocheting this huge carpet when I finish crocheting the carpet, one of you can marry me. And then she would, it's the wrong verb, but I don't remember the verb. She would crochet in the day and mess it up in the night to crochet forever. In the meantime, Odysseus was going in the most creepy LSD inspired MDMA adventure you can imagine. It's like the ancient Greek version of The Hangover, but it includes witches, giants, psychedelic substances, the whole thing. So I'm very, very curious to see how Nolan takes that and puts it into the big screen. And Nolan has quite an all-star cast for this, including Matt Damon, Charlize Theron, Tom Holland, Anne Hathaway, Robert Pattinson, one of Nolan's most ambitious and sprawling stories yet. So a bit of an early one. There's still 1.5 years before the movie comes out, but quite excited for this one. I even had an idea to start bringing ancient Greek stories in this podcast, bringing a myth every now and then about how someone tried to grow wings and fly away from a prison, or gods chasing women for sex and them turning into trees to escape. And ancient Greek mythology is full of very weird, fucked up stories, a lot of sex and violence included, mostly a lot of that. But looking at the time, I think I should really wrap it up. I have more ideas and thoughts, but we have 2025 for that. This has been an end of the year weird version of yet another expert. Thank you for listening. If you like this podcast, if you want to see it continue, grow, exist, and be, consider rating it on Spotify. Give it 5 stars. Steal the phones of the people in New Year's Eve. Search for the podcast, click follow, click the bell, and they will just get one more notification. It's not the most surprising thing that can happen. Help it grow, show it your love. I wish you all the best with calm times, relaxing dinners with loved ones, not too many family frictions in those tables where everyone meets. Love, hugs, and fun. And I'll see you next year. Haha, I said it. Sorry. Okay, ciao.